once again. Oh, maybe not anymore.
Immediately.
Did it stop?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Kinda.
Did you move the camera?
It,
There we go.
almost broke everything.
It's been a minute since we streamed. It's fine. Oh boy.
Hilo's very excited to be back. All right, here's what we're going to do today. Ow. We are going to talk about from a certain point of view, but we thought it would be funny to put together a little bet, friendly wager between us. So we each put together a list of 40 characters, concepts, weird things that we would like to see in From a Certain Point of View Strikes Back.
Yeah.
We're going to take out anything that we both put down, and then we are going to see when the book comes out who had the most right. And whoever wins is going to get to choose the other person's outfit for the next Q&A. Those are the stakes. They've never been higher. Hi, Hilo.
Yeah. We didn't really know what to do for the bet, but I mean, I do have that Slave Leia outfit that I could put you in.
I've worn it before. At Dragon Con twice.
So, yeah.
So let's get started. And we'll keep an eye on chat as well, but we're just going to take turns. We'll go through our lists. Why don't you go first? I want to hear your first one.
I tried to go kind of in order.
I'm all over the place on mine, so.
Oh, okay, because I was just like going through the movie like, oh, this would be cool, this would be cool. Tauntaun.
I put that as well, I believe. Yes, I did. So.
I'm not sure which one.
Well, delete that off your list since it was a duplicate.
Okay.
But yes, let's discuss Tauntaun.
Yeah.
That always makes me think of Maurice from Robot Chicken.
Robot Chicken. I don't know if it'll be Luke's Tauntaun or Han's, but either one I'd be happy to hear from.
Well, Delilah Dawson was teasing some stuff. I mean, she was just putting GIFs out, but she did post a GIF of a Tauntaun. So that does feel like could be.
Yeah.
Which one do you think has... They both have sad stories. Neither of them end happy.
Yeah. Maybe... Hilo. Maybe Luke's. I don't know. The one that gets...
Eaten?
Yeah.
I think I'd want to hear from Hans more.
Is that the one that gets split open?
Yeah. But I mean, like, I want to know how it felt with Han, like, I'll see you in hell.
Oh, Hilo. Sorry,
Hilo's trying to pull everything down. Everything we've worked on.
What's up, Eckhart Slatter?
And Rick Villanueva, thanks for the super chat. He wants the potato in the asteroid field.
Yeah. Should hear from
that.
Yeah,
there's the potato, there's a shoe.
There's a shoe?
Yeah, there's a number of random objects in the asteroid field.
Yeah.
Man, like, the second we go live, Hilo just knows. And he wants to ham it up for the camera. Okay, buddy. So yeah, Tauntaun. We're good there?
Yep.
The first one I have written down, I'm going to guess Captain Kennedy or Allegiant General Pride, or just someone from the First Order that we know was part of the Empire.
Hilo.
Is he eating Legos now? We need to, like, maybe put him out. Hilo juked you.
He's hiding amongst all the cables.
Well, let's sit down and hopefully he chills out. Played fetch with him, ran him around the yard. Doesn't matter. Big giant puppy, big baby. So yeah.
You think someone from the sequel trilogy, but
yeah,
at this point in their lives.
Well, we know that Kennedy and Pride were in the Empire.
Okay.
So I think that would be a cool, like, what were they doing back in the day? I think that's a... yeah.
I didn't...
Yeah, you weren't expecting that.
No, I wasn't thinking about anyone else from any other movies.
I gotcha.
You got me.
See, I'm trying to think outside the box here, because the first one did things like Dr. Aphra got
true.
roped in.
Yeah. Now there's like a bunch more possibilities than what I wrote down. But yeah, I just stuck to the movie.
Well, that just means that we're not going to be deleting too much off our list. I mean, I have a lot of... Okay, you give me another one.
Probe droid.
Oh, did I do that?
The Imperial probe droid at the very beginning of the movie.
I didn't think of that. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, well, first of all, he like self-destructs after getting shot once, but he gets to report back the image of the shield generators. So.
Yeah, so like were his last thoughts like, a job well done?
Yeah, I did it.
I did it. That didn't even cross my mind, because well, Imperial droids are so much more robotic than like a rebel droid. I wrote a handful of droids in here, but not the probe droid.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, this is the one that I really, really want to happen, I think. I said unidentified Imperial captain who gets crushed by an asteroid. So there's a shot of Vader with like 3 hologram captains, and right before that shot, you see an asteroid slam into a Star Destroyer. So then you see one of those captains like freak out and then just flicker away. So like, that dude's dead. Like, I want to know who he was. And it's so weird because on Wikipedia he doesn't have a name. Like in Star Wars, he has no name. Right. Who is that man?
Yeah.
It's time to name him. It's absurd that there's an Imperial officer with no name.
I mean, he might have a name. It's just not been put on the internet yet. We'll have to ask Pablo.
I'm hoping he has a name now after FactPov.
Okay. My next one is General Riken.
I put him in.
Classic.
Yeah.
Like, what's his life been like leading up to the Battle of Hoth?
And he delete it.
Okay.
Hey, if you're gonna choose my outfit, we're doing this right.
Okay.
But yeah, Riken seems like an easy pick. He's not in it too much, but yeah.
So is the bet whatever we have left if it gets into the book?
Yeah. Is it Scatagories? Is that the game that does you write down things, but then if people have the same stuff written down, you just delete it? It doesn't count as a point.
I don't remember how to play Scatagories. So.
Well, we're using Scatagories rules.
Okay. Bakey, yeah. Thank you for the super chat. They asked, what about hobby? We'll see.
Well, okay. We'll just go ahead. I'll skip ahead because I have hobby. Yes.
Okay, I do too.
Hobby needs to be in there. He has one line, one call out. So let me delete him off my list. But yeah, like, I don't know if Veer's Watch is watching, but there is a reference book.
He's probably just like already preparing for his big moment.
Yeah, he's waiting. But there is a reference book that talks about the Battle of Hoth, and it talks about Hobby flying his snowspeeder into General Veers's AT-AT, and that's how they both die. So technically, that's canon, but it's a reference book, and I would say that there's wiggle room if they wanted to change that.
Sure.
But that was meant to be like something that happened in the movie, and they deleted it. So I wouldn't mind having that solidified, although I'm sure Veer's Watch does not want that.
Yeah, probably not. Do we know how well he knew Luke?
Hobby?
Yeah.
Fairly well. I mean, in Legends, he was part of Rogue Squadron for quite a while. They haven't shown him a whole lot in canon.
Yeah. I just wonder if he felt a lot of pressure being Luke Skywalker's
Wingman. Well, I mean, maybe that just... I always am curious about why Wedge is Rogue 3 and not Rogue 2. Mm-hmm. Zev Sineska's Rogue 2. Like, what's... We'll get to him, but, like, what's his story?
Yeah. The numbers in Star Wars make no sense, and that's just an ongoing joke now, I think.
Come to think of it, but you can go ahead and do your next one, but I didn't put Wedge down. He feels almost...
Well, we agreed no main character.
Yeah, but like he's not a main character really. He is in my heart, and that's why I didn't put him down. But
yeah, I don't think I put down Wedge either.
Okay, well, your next pick.
My next pick is. You ready for this one? The bounty hunter on Ord Mantell.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Take us there.
Okay.
I want to see what happened.
Huh. Well, it has to be like an event from the movie told from a different point of view. So I don't think they would. I don't think they would jump back in time to when Han met the bounty hunter.
No, but they could.
Well, I think that's against the spirit of the book.
Oh, okay.
It's supposed to be, what was this person doing while this scene from the movie happened? But I think it would be kind of funny if we like jumped to Ord Mantell while Han is having that conversation, and he's like, "Oh, I almost had him."
Yeah, he's like having drinks with his buddies and just talking about like that Han Solo. He's a hard one to catch.
Yeah, I do like that if they can work it in somehow.
He's got his tracking fob and
maybe they'll explain how those work. For my next one, I will throw another one out because I meant to mention earlier and I missed a super chat from Caleb Diaz, who says an L337 point of view of the Falcon.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes, that was on my list. Did you do that one?
No.
Oh, nice.
I forgot, but I would love a story for, like, I want L3 to live on through the Falcon, and
yeah,
I'm sad that I didn't think of that.
Well, like there were some people who were disappointed that like that's the droid's rights character is now like enslaved in the Falcon. Mm-hmm. So Mur Lafferty in the Solo novelization already did some work, I think, to touch that up and make it a little better. Mm-hmm. But it would be good to check in with her on and during Empire, see the conversation she had with C-3PO. Where he's like, I don't know where your computer learned to talk, but
yeah. how can you imagine how angry that probably made her?
Yeah, I think that would be a very funny scene to have the two of them fight a little bit, and that's basically why they put L3 into the computer in Solo, like because that it becomes a callback. So I think that would be a really fun thing to revisit.
We got some super chats to read here. Mike Gieb, thank you for the super chat. I probably butchered your last name. Sorry about that. Would like to see stories from the Rebels and Empire troops in the Battle of Hoth. Love the throwback videos of when you were Star Wars Minute. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, there's so much room for stories of both Rebels and Imperials during Hoth.
I didn't put this on my list, but Bryn Durlin.
He's on my list.
Oh, nice.
That's on my list.
It didn't dawn on me until right now.
Major Bryn Durlin.
That's a good one.
Mr.
And yeah, it would be cool to see what Mr. Who? You about to drop some trivia?
John Ratzenberger. Yeah.
See what he's up to during the Battle of Hoth. See if he survived, because yeah, he has a very tiny cameo in Empire. I think that's a perfect candidate. So well done, Mike.
Yeah.
That can be our Rebel or Imperial. And I'm sure, I'll throw out. Oh, wait, no. I have another Rebel character who's actually very next on my list. Who could also be there for the Battle of Hoth.
I have several.
Okay. Yeah. Well, only because this one is literally the next one on my list. The guy who walks in between Leia and Han in the hall while they're fighting.
I was thinking about that, and I didn't put that on my list, but I was like, I was trying to think of that scene in my head, like, if someone interrupted them. But yeah, he just walks in between them.
I mean, one of my favorite things about the book Lost Stars is seeing, and it's a scene from this book, or a scene from Empire, but there's a girl who's on the Executor, and she doesn't understand why we're sending pilots in to chase a freighter. Mm-hmm. Why are we sacrificing lives for this freighter? She doesn't understand the bigger story. And this is kind of similar to me, is like, this guy is probably working hard to save lives, and he's like, I got somewhere to be and important work to do, and they're fighting in the hallway about like, ugh, get it together, guys. I just want to, I want to see his thought process as he walks through.
Yeah, like I hope, I don't see his story being very long, but I hope it's like, I'm sick and tired of hearing those two bicker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like he somehow has run into them fighting an Echo base over and over and over.
Marlon Rando, thank you for the super chat. Hey guys, love the videos. I literally just beat Malicos on Grandmaster in time for the stream. It's a nice cool down. Congratulations.
Yes, I hope it didn't take you 2 hours the way it took me. That's yeah. I'm sure your adrenaline is spiking. We'll try to help you bring it back down.
Yeah. Who's next? Or do you want to read
I'll read Elijah Neal. Thank you for the super chat. And this is a good one. Wasn't Captain Doza part of the Empire? And he's here to ask me the Knight of Ren names.
I wrote these down recently from studying for the Schmodown. So, Trudgeon.
That's the one we always get. I've got like 3 or 4 now.
Trudgeon, Kuruk.
That's
Apec, Apelec.
That sounds right.
It's the one with the apostrophe in it. Apelec.
Okay.
I think. That's all I got.
Vicrul.
Vicrul.
Those were the 3 I remembered. Kuruk, Trudgeon, and Vicrul.
I will know them by the time of my next match.
Yeah. You're the one with the schmodowns going on. Like I don't have to study right now.
Well, not right now, but you might have to play me.
But he makes a good point. Captain Doza. That's a fun one.
Yeah. Going back to stuff from other content. Definitely. Like
he could have been part of the blockade or something, and maybe we get to see the point of his decision to defect. That's a fun one. I think it's your turn.
Okay. Oh, Wampa.
Yeah, I said the Wampa too.
I figured we'd both have the Wampa on the list.
But we can't not. I mean, there's definitely some that we both put on here and was like, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, just want to know if he was, like, legitimately angry and scary, or if he was, like, trying to help Luke, but he accidentally knocked him out.
So that's, like, the danger, I guess, of some of these stories is, like, we might turn these things into tragedies.
Right.
I saw someone on Twitter talking about, like, the Wampa is eating his meal, and then we're like, oh, the kid's awake, like maybe he's hungry, and like, here you go, buddy. Oh my gosh.
My arm.
That's another like Robot Chicken one where Luke runs into the Wampa after it's lost its arm and sees how much it's struggling now, and he feels guilty. But yeah, Wampa is a for sure. Yep. My next one is Lobot.
He's on mine.
Yeah. Again, it's like you can't not. I don't know. I don't think they've announced all the authors yet. But I'm hoping Charles Soule does this one. Most of these I don't have, like, I didn't match up writers with stories, but Charles Soule wrote one of my favorite, like, canon stories with the Lando comic, and it's very Lobot centric. So and he's also dealing with Lobot in the new Star Wars comics right now. whenever they come back, which I think is supposed to be soon.
Yeah.
But I would just like to continue to see his takes on Lobot because they're great.
Yeah. I have a bunch that that are probably givens.
Yeah.
But Zev Seneska.
Yes. So.
Rogue 2. So his story could be fun, but just because he's the one to find Han and Luke.
Right.
So he's got a very heroic story to tell, potentially. Maybe he has been just screwing up time after time after time, and he finally gets something right.
Well, if he's Rogue 2, he should be pretty up there and well respected. So,
yeah.
But I agree. Like I think it would be good to see a little more from that scene. Maybe get his take on the Battle of Yavin Battle of Hoth, because it starts out like he looks fine, and then the next time we see him, he's like got blood all over his face. Like, what happened to you, man?
Right.
Rick Villanueva, thank you for the super chat. This is another good one I didn't think of. Ray Sloan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she is someone that keeps popping up in all kinds of things, but I don't think we've really seen her in between A New Dawn and then Return of the Jedi and the Aftermath books. So this would be kind of a nice little let's check in on Rey.
Yeah.
What's she up to? What rank is she now on as she climbs up to?
I'm mad about a lot of like stuff like this that I did not think about, but yeah, this would be a great place to get a story from her.
Mm-hmm. Next on my list, I wanted to get this one out of the way early because obviously Wilro Hood.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually just 40 Wilro Hood stories. Like this is
give him his own book.
This has got to be the one that I bet authors were like fighting over.
Yeah. Whoever got that story, that's what they're going to be known for the rest of their career as far as Star Wars fans.
Well, it's just like I don't even know how. I'm sure multiple people wanted to do it, and it wasn't just first come first serve. Or like I wonder if Del Rey took pitches. Like, no, we got to get Wilro Hood right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And he's got a good story because
he's got an action figure.
He's got an action figure. He's carrying precious cargo.
Yeah, what's in the Camtano? I hope it's actually something.
Maybe it's his lunch.
I hope.
Maybe it's ice cream.
It's his ice cream recipe.
It's gonna
He's got to
melt.
save it.
It's gonna melt.
If it is ice cream in the end, I'd kind of love it.
Yeah. Got some super chats. John Booze, thank you for the super chat. Think it would be conceivable to have a character from this setup, Exegol. Oh, okay. So someone from Exegol, or would that be easier in a certain point of view for Jedi, assuming they continue to do these?
Yeah. Let's see. I threw out the idea that Pride could be a story. I should narrow it down. I said Kennedy / Pride / First Order officer. Like,
well,
I'll
cheating.
Right. I'll choose Kennedy. I think he's most likely.
Okay.
But, to set up Exegol, like I think it's possible but unlikely. I think I actually do have a character later on that could potentially reference something. Mm-hmm. Or, I mean, heck, what if we went over, like, what if we saw Exegol? Maybe the Emperor makes a call and is like, hey, how are things doing? That was my worst Palpatine yet. And so, like, he's like, I just got a call off of a call with Vader, and I was telling him he's got to kill his son or make him join us. But how are things on Exegol?
Yeah, just checking in.
I'm going to be there in like a year.
Yeah. We got a few super chats coming in now. You want to read the next one?
Kojiro, thank you for the super chat. What about the guy who says, Imperial troops have entered the base, Imperial troops have entered the... That's the line. That's how it goes. Also, Torin Farr and the droid who swears at C-3PO. Okay, well, I think it's my turn anyway. And E3PO is on my list because I really want to know what Ichuta. Did you put that down?
No, I didn't.
Nice.
That's
So
a
yeah,
good one.
E3PO is absolutely on my list. I want to know what that means. How rude is it?
What if it gets a story and they still don't say what that means?
I think that's likely.
It just starts with Ichuta and then
what he went off to do.
yeah.
I think that it's honestly one of those things that's better left up to the imagination, where it's, what did that droid say that really upset 3PO?
Yeah.
But it could have also been something completely innocuous that really insulted 3PO, because that's how he is.
Yeah. Rick Villanueva, thank you for another super chat. 2 more words. Sinjir Rathvelis?
Yeah. Great character. I didn't even really think about the Aftermath crew all that much. Again, he's part of the Empire at this point. Like, any of these are possible.
Mm-hmm. Anything's possible.
Okay. Sinjir could have been part of the torture crew for Han. Like that, he actually would have fit in there, because that's what Sinjir did in the Aftermath books. He was a torturer.
Yeah. We didn't see a ton of crew for the torture.
We didn't see the whole room.
Yeah, we just saw the, weird chair thing that they lowered him down into.
Maybe Sinjir was off in the corner.
Yeah.
I could see that.
I like that. Is it my turn?
Yeah, let's get some of ours, and we'll go back to Super Chats.
2-1B medical droid.
Yeah, I did that too.
So the little blue droid helping Luke in his little back to tank.
Uh-huh.
Did he put Luke in that diaper?
Like, oh no, you have to wear a diaper to get in this. Like, are you sure? Can't I just wear like a jumpsuit? Nope. Diaper.
Diaper it is.
That's how 2-1B gets his kicks. He just messes with humans.
I was like, he has a Funko Pop. He needs a story.
I had this idea that he probably has a blood sample from Luke. Maybe at some point he took a blood sample from Leia, and I'm pretty sure he's in the room when they kiss. So he could just be that back there like, oh no.
He knows they're related.
What do I do?
Oh no. I didn't think about that. I thought you were going to say maybe he tries to clone one of them, but he makes the Luke clone. But
yeah,
no.
Luke.
Him knowing about them being related would be hilarious. James Mitchell, thank you for the super chat. Palpatine hologram / Shizor / Shadows of the Empire. Yeah, Shizor would be hilarious if they brought him back in canon.
Well, in Shadows of the Empire, we see Palpatine's side of that call, and Shizor is basically just in the corner watching it.
Nice.
So it's like that kind of is from a certain point of view. Ooh. They could just grab that chapter out and put it in the book.
Yeah, I like that.
And Shizor's back.
Yeah.
I do find it a little bit frustrating that so much of Black Sun has still, like, in canon, has been influenced by Shadows of the Empire. It's like, just name drop Shizor once. That's...
Yeah. I love his action figure, and just every time I think about him, I'm like, what a cool guy.
Lewis Sutcliffe, thank you for the super chat. What about Cole Tackbright? That's fun. I didn't include him at all.
Oh, is that...
Fake Wedge.
Yeah, Fake Wedge.
It would be fun to continue some of, like... okay, we'll transition that, because I do have a sequel idea. Like, it would be fun to follow up on some of the original books things. And Cole Tackbright would be a fun one. I also wrote the wills at the end of the first From a Certain Point of View. Mm-hmm. They are basically writing Star Wars. And so one of the wills is writing the crawl, and another will is like judging his grammar and how he's writing and stuff.
Why are some of these words in caps and
right.
some of them aren't?
Exactly. Like, why are you just arbitrarily capitalizing some things?
These are the important words.
So I think it would be fun if they did that again for The Empire Strikes Back.
That would be funny. I like that. The Trog Nation, thank you for the super chat. Wilrose smuggling contraband Beskar from the Great Purge and is keeping it hidden from the Empire as they occupy Cloud City. That is definitely a possibility.
That's the thing. Could be anything in there.
I feel like it would be so heavy.
Yeah, he's like dragging it.
Yeah.
It's your turn.
Okay.
But we did.
Sorry, I lost.
Oh, and I don't know if you saw this, but Tom is in the chat spying.
Ooh, okay.
He just said you're asking critical questions.
Yay! Oh yeah, like I secretly hope a bunch of authors are watching this and just laughing at us.
Yeah.
And like, I hope we're getting a lot of stuff right.
I'm pretty sure we're nailing it. But Shayla Starkley, hello there, and thank you for the super chat.
Also, Hyperon327, thank you for the super chat. It's just got a cute little gift that says "Keep it up."
We will. We're not even halfway through this.
Nope.
Not even close.
Grant GA, thank you for the super chat. What are your guys' top 5 lightsaber hilts? His is Anakin, Obi-Wan, Mace Windu, both sets of Ahsoka's, and Vader's. I don't know if that I have a top 5. I'll just say a few of my favorites. Mara Jade.
Okay, you say one, and I Cal Kestis, or Jaro Tapal, I guess technically.
Yeah, Dooku, just because it's.
You like the curve?
I like the curve, and it's fancy looking.
Luke, Return of the Jedi.
Palpatine. It's like, I know he has 2, but like, I don't know. It's very classy.
They look
looking.
fancy. Mace Windu also has a very classy looking hilt.
Yeah.
There, we'll do a combined top 5.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's your turn.
Okay.
We'll try to like.
I have another good one.
Oh, good.
This is pretty out there, but a nerf herder.
Okay. I know how we get there.
That insult happens. We cut to a nerf herder, just living life, but they're like, why are people giving us so much crap all the time? Like, why is that an insult?
I think I will do one that we can shift it into the book. We can even make it the same guy who like walked in between Han and Leia. So now he catches this conversation and he's like, my family, we're all nerf herders. Like, these people, Leia and Han are just mean.
I come from a long line of nerf herders.
I like the idea that he is like just catching all of their fights and they're also insulting him.
I was pretty proud of that one.
Well, I'll go next because Mike Gahib, thank you for another super chat. A story on Palpatine, what he is doing, and if he is doing something with the Force. I did write Palpatine in mine. I feel like...
I did not. I thought about it, but... Yeah.
Obviously, he is a major character in the saga, but in Empire, he's only in one scene. So, kind of the way, like, Yoda is a major character, but he had a story from a certain point of view. Mm-hmm. So I think there's definitely something to tell about Palpatine. And again, I'm going back to Robot Chicken and him getting his hair cut. There's so many.
Oh, you're
Robot just mine Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
For great ideas.
Yep. Shayla Starkley, thank you for a super chat. The further adventures of Long Snoot, aka Garen Dan.
Well, I liked his story a lot in the first one. I think that was Delilah Dawson's.
Yeah. Yeah, and everything she writes is gold.
Yeah. But yeah, it definitely made him more than just like an Imperial informant. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one I wouldn't mind seeing a sequel to.
Whose turn is it?
Yours.
Oh. Who do I have next? I may have needed to combine these, and I might just go ahead and say 2 at once.
Okay.
Rogue 10 and 11.
Oh.
Just because they are mentioned.
And they're checking out Sector 38.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of pull that. I like that.
Like, just a more about what they were saying, like more just random rebels on Hoth.
I think that's fun. What is in Sector 38?
Mm-hmm.
Why did Riken send them there?
Yeah. What did they find?
They're gonna find something crazy.
Did they survive?
My next one, I think I think I got a lot that are just we're both gonna have Ozzel.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll delete that. But I even saw Eckert's Ladder earlier said, what if they confirm that he was a rebel agent? Because that's a fan theory that's been floating around.
Ooh.
That he came out too close to the system to give the rebels a heads up.
Yep. I like that.
I don't think that's the case. I think he was just an incompetent, clumsy dude.
Yeah. Everything that Vader says about him is true.
I think that's probably more likely.
Yeah.
Okay.
You no longer get to tease me about this, aka Floof. He's adding on to the name.
So now we can just call him Floof.
I love it. Thank you for the super chat. A prequel movie from a certain point of view with R0GR, please.
Yeah, Roger's the Freemaker Adventures battle droid.
Yep.
That'd be fun.
Yes.
No, I was saying that for people who haven't watched the Freemaker Adventures.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When they get to the prequel FACPOVs, that's a great idea to have him in all three.
Yeah.
Just like what happened to him in every like big battle. He's there at Naboo, he's there at Geonosis, and then he's at, I don't know, Megiddo or something. Or on the Invisible Hand.
Yeah. We got another hello there from G Collins. Thank you for the super chat.
Hello there.
Hello there. Let's have our best hello there.
Are you gonna go Ewan or Alec Guinness? I'm gonna go Alec Guinness. I think my Alec Guinness is better. Hello there. Got to go a little nasally with it.
Hello there. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I got. Shayla Starkley, thank you for another super chat. I'm sure it's been said, but General Veers.
I don't think anyone wants General Veers in this.
No. Who cares?
Who cares about that guy?
Of course, he's on both of our lists.
Yeah.
So we got to take him off now.
Take him up. And yeah, I mean, that's just, you have to put him down only because everyone's rooting for Veers Watch, the best Star Wars Twitter account.
I saw a thread of him talking with some people about it, and he offered to voice that chapter for the audiobook, and I am 100% standing behind that. Like, I want to make a petition.
I hadn't thought about that.
Can we... petitions are always about negative things, but I want to make one about getting this to happen.
Get Veers Watch into the audiobook. I totally forgot about how much of a production the audiobook was for the first one. So many people voicing various characters. So
see, if Tom's still in the chat or still watching, I'm just saying, I think he did tag Del Rey in that tweet.
Yeah,
that was his public offer.
So maybe if we really get into the nitty gritty on some of these characters, we can think about who is going to voice them in the audiobook. Yeah, you go, and then we'll.
Okay, so I'll be one behind, I guess, because I just said
if
two.
if you think of another one, you can throw it in.
All right. I put the guy who says the first transport is away over the intercom, causing everyone to cheer.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
Just like, what was going through his mind? Was he happy that he made everyone else happy? Mm-hmm. I don't know anything about that guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe that was Cole Tackbright.
Maybe.
There we go. We got him in. He still doesn't get to fly, but he does get to say something nice.
Yeah.
Was there one up before? Okay, that was.
Grant GA, thank you for the super chat. In Fallen Order 2, assuming we're getting that, should
They confirmed it.
Huh?
They basically confirmed it. And EA Play is next week, so
should Cal take down Maul and Crimson Dawn? Given in Rebels, Maul was stranded, and it seems Crimson Dawn was disabled.
well, I guess it depends on when it takes place. But I don't think it's going to jump that far into the future. And I also kind of want Kira to be the one that strands Maul. And I also want to see, I think Vader should have a hand in taking things down. I think that would be cool. So also, I don't want to go back to Dathomir. It was so scary.
Yeah, well, that probably means that it might show up again.
Yeah.
And then Caleb Diaz, thank you for the super chat. The troopers that shot 3PO, who are Tag and Bink.
Oh yeah.
I totally forgot that was supposed to be them. And yeah, like both of them need a story.
I mean, again, they were in Solo: A Star Wars Story, so it would be fun to see them actually pop up in the movies, like, again, and even make some of those comics canon. My next one was Admiral Piet.
Yep,
Yeah.
he's on my list
Yeah.
too.
I figured.
I remember you saying that he was one of your favorite Imperial officers because he seemed like an okay guy.
He yeah, I mean, he seems like someone, he didn't seem evil. He seemed like he was in over his head. I would have liked to think that eventually he would have defected if an A-wing hadn't flown into him. But
yeah, I want part of his story, assuming he gets a story. I want part of his story to be him telling anyone else, that he saw Vader's head.
yeah.
Like
No, that's perfect.
For like a split second, he's like, dude,
No,
I saw it.
that's exactly what I hadn't thought of that, but now I want that to be the story. Like, he goes running out and he picks up a phone. He's like, Captain Nita, you will not believe what I just saw.
Speaking of that, is he on your list?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on my list.
Okay. Well, then let's talk about Nita.
Okay.
I mean, Nita is another Imperial officer I like quite a bit, only because most Imperial officers are very, like, to get ahead in the Empire, you have to step on other people and, like, backstab and all that. And Nita doesn't do that. He accepts full responsibility for losing the Falcon. I think he knew what was going to happen to him. Like, that his shuttle ride from the Avenger to the Executor would be a good story for him, I think.
Yeah, just what were his thoughts going into it, and like just being proud of himself for taking responsibility, but also knowing the imminent danger.
I'm sorry, he's not on my list.
He's not?
No, I'm either I accidentally deleted him earlier, or no, put him back on yours. I think I forgot him. Even though I had that
How embarrassing.
I had that preloaded in my head. That's exactly what I wanted it to be, but oops.
G. Collins, thanks for another super chat. I would like to see a short story for Wedge Antilles and Yoda's thoughts about Luke leaving Dagobah.
Well, yeah, why don't you talk about...
So, okay, one of mine is Yoda, but mine is him right before Luke gets there, which we've kind of seen a little bit in the comics, but yeah, now I'm like, okay, yeah, either right before or after he leaves, both would be interesting, but like, I just want to know what Yoda was up to.
I like the idea.
Dagobah.
I like the idea of him watching Luke for a little bit and just thinking like, all right, how am I going to mess with this kid?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to steal his lamp. I'm going
gonna-
to eat his food. I'm going to hit his droid.
Yeah.
Is that... Oh, and that could also be like a... Oh, hey, it's R2. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Like, because people always ask that. Like, how come R2 didn't recognize Yoda? It's like, okay, Yoda obviously is just hamming it up. But it would be interesting to... if they found a way to reconcile that.
So Yoda's not on your list?
No.
Okay.
My next one is the Cloud City Central Computer.
I thought about that. That's a good one.
So R2 plugs into the computer and learns that the hyperdrive on the Falcon is disabled, and 3PO yells at him about trusting strange computers. So I think that would be a fun little conversation between droids. I think there would be some comedy to be found there.
Yep. You want to read some of these super chats?
Yep. Marlon Rando. I don't know if that's a play on Marlon Brando or not, but I love the name. What about a story on whoever destroyed 3PO on Cloud City? Make it Tag and Bink again. Yeah, again, I'm all for that. I love that Tag and Bink are in the universe. I'd like to see them appear more.
Yeah.
Shameless Darkly just has a title for the Yoda story: Yoda and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. I think that would be Order 66, probably.
Yeah, save that title for a super, super bad day. But also, yeah, Yoda's just like he sees Luke and he's like, all right, here we go.
Got to deal with this kid. Honestly, that would be a fun sequel story,
Yeah,
so to speak.
We learn in the first certain point of view book that he wanted to train Leia and not Luke.
And that's like just the whole time in his head. He's like, this could be Leia, but I have to whack this droid now. Dylan Compton, thank you for the super chat. Ralph McQuarrie's character who walks by an Echo base.
Did he make it?
I didn't know that Ralph McQuarrie had a cameo, so you just taught me something. I'd have to look him up and see if it's the guy we keep referencing that walks by Han and Leia over and over. That'd be cool.
I'll look that up if you read a couple more.
Okay. Floof, thank you for another super chat. Just realized how sad a Revenge of the Sith from a certain point of view might be. Yeah, like the first from a certain point of view book had the cantina, where obviously there's so many characters in there, and we spent a lot of time. Like, I feel like we saw Greedo get shot 5 times in the first book. But now jumping to Revenge of the Sith, which I guess isn't going to happen for a while. But yeah, if we were to get Ki-Adi-Mundi and Stas Ali, Ayla Secura, Plo Koon getting shot down by Plo's bros, yeah, that could be pretty gut-wrenching.
Okay, so he's just like a quick walk by, but he's carrying a sketchbook.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's really cool.
I did not know that. Thank you for teaching me something, Dylan. Yeah, that'd be kind of nice. If they Tuckerized Ralph McQuarrie's name into something Star Wars-y and he was like the Rebels artist.
Yeah.
Just sketching away.
Okay.
Yeah, why don't you do another one?
Get back to my... Let's see. Okay. Dak.
Yeah. I put Dak down.
Yeah, Luke's gunner. I'll go ahead and say I put Dak and Jansen.
I did not put Jansen down.
Okay.
And yeah, that's a good one. He's a great Legends character. I mean, well, he's canon too, but in Legends, that's where he got really fleshed out. I'd love to see him come back. Because yeah, Wedge and Jansen are not in the movie much at all, so both of them I do think are up for grabs.
They're the first to take down an AT-AT. So
yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah, good for them. Very cool.
Stuart Lugsden, what's up? Thank you for the super chat. Babu Frick. That would be cool. Yeah. Do we know how old he is or how long he's been around?
I don't remember if they've set up his species lifespan or anything. But I mean, maybe he worked for the rebellion and that's why he went to Kijimi eventually, because he likes the cold.
I can't read this next one.
Oh no. Well, first, before that, because Daniel S. brought up one that I have, and I will say that I stole this off of Twitter. I saw Charlie Ashby from the Imperial Senate podcast. He suggested that Moff Jerjerrod get a story because in the special edition, when they added the scenes of Vader's shuttle going up to the Executor, they just reused some shots from Return of the Jedi, it was just a different angle of Vader getting off the shuttle and meeting Jar Jarrod. So you can see Jar Jarrod on the Executor, technically. And it would be really... I like the fact that they, in the first book, took Fake Wedge and gave him the in-universe nickname, Fake Wedge, and a name and everything. I thought that was so much fun to take like these weird little behind-the-scenes things and make them into the story or part of the story. I think it would be really funny to see Jar Jarrod like really annoyed that he has to leave Death Star construction and come report to Vader. Like, what is Vader even doing?
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun.
What is he up to?
Okay, and you can't read this super chat. Lewis Sutcliffe suggests Boba Fett disintegrating Baby Yoda's parents.
Why?
I mean, Baby Yoda had to get into the universe somehow. And he would have been, what, if he's 50, then he would have been 45, 44, I think, at the time of Empire.
Aw.
That's so weird.
I know. I mean, I don't think he would look much different, but yeah.
I don't see that happening.
No. Probably not. Oh. I keep getting lost in the...
Well...
Okay, so Howard Shaver, thank you for the super chat. The swamp monster that tried to eat R2. I think we probably both have the dragon snake.
We sure do.
On our list.
As much as I hate the dragon snake, because of that time it made me lose a trivia contest because I wrote dragon serpent instead. I did write to include it just to get its thoughts on, like a tasty morsel, and then he eats R2 and then spits him back out.
Realizes that it's not organic matter. It's like, well, I don't want to eat this.
Yeah, this is upsetting. What was his disappointment like that day?
Yeah.
Mike Giheb, thank you for another super chat. A story about the guy that watches Admiral Ozzel get choked. Love to read a story about looking at Vader and then Ozzel. I have a lot of... I'll jump ahead to one of mine because this is similar. Just like the random background people that stand out to me. So at the very end of the movie, when the Falcon escapes and Piet obviously looks mortified because he's afraid he's about to die, but like Vader just storms off. There's one Imperial officer who's just kind of like doing he's like trying not to make eye contact with Vader. And when Vader walks by, he just kind of looks over and goes back to his work.
Yeah.
I put him in the list.
Nice.
Just be like, don't look at him. Don't look at him. Mm-hmm. Don't look at him. Don't want to get force choked today.
Yeah. Not today. Not today, Satan. That's not on my list, so that's a good one. Joe Lorio, I think that's what it says. I don't know. I can't read. I can read, but not from this far away. Thank you for the super chat. Hi guys, love your vids and making Molly her Baby Yoda sketch. Want to wish my sister a happy birthday and would love to see Iden, Harriet, and the dragon serpent.
Joe, how dare you? Well, let's pause there. Well, A, happy birthday to your sister.
Yeah.
B, I'll go. You've done a couple where you've done two at a time. I included Iden and Hera in my list.
I did not.
Hera, I have to assume is at Hoth. I can't remember if they have ever specifically put her there, but I'd be shocked if she weren't.
Mm-hmm.
That's like just a nice, again, kind of like Ray Sloan. It would be fun to check in on some of these characters that we haven't seen in a minute.
Because we know she was on Yavin 4 in Rogue One,
and we know she was on Endor.
Yeah, and so you have to assume that she's hanging around there somewhere, wherever the rebellion is.
Yeah. And then Iden, we saw her in between episodes 4 and 5. That's when the Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad book takes place. So, and I think you said Christy Golden was writing a story.
I think I saw that. Yeah.
And she wrote Inferno Squad. So we could do a little check-in with Iden as well.
Yeah.
She's going to defect in like 18 months at that point. So we could see where her mind's at.
Yeah, that'd be great to get more of her side as an Imperial pilot. Major Zuma, thank you for the super chat. Hey y'all, would love to see when Vader gets to Cloud City and meets Lando and Lobot before the Millennium Falcon. Sorry if this has been said before. This
It hasn't yet.
has not come up.
I do have a relevant one to this. If you, I don't know if you do. It's your turn. But while we're talking about it,
Okay. I do have... Hold on, let me find out where it is. Excuse me. I have Cloud City citizen / worker who sets the table.
no, you don't. I have the same thing. I can't believe we both did that. Guy who sets the table for the dinner party.
Yes.
No way. I can't believe I have to delete that. I can't believe you wrote that.
I mean, someone had to do that.
I know.
And, like, there's food on the table, isn't there?
I think so.
Who eats that food? Does it go to waste?
I can't believe you put that. Yeah, that is exactly what I was thinking of. Like, Vader's there in the corner. Like, make sure it looks good.
Yeah. And also, like, we don't know how long he's been sitting there waiting.
Uh-huh.
Just, like, maybe he, like, sneaks a bite.
Honestly, that would be a fun Vader story. Like, it would probably ruffle some feathers. And I think with the first FactPov, Pablo Hidalgo said, like, some of the stories are canon, some are just fun.
Yeah.
Like, it would be funny to have a story about Vader, like, trying different poses and, like,
Yeah, just
how fast do I stand up? And should I be sitting? What do I do?
standing.
Or
Yeah.
maybe he was going to stand and then he was like, this is taking forever. And he sits
sits
down and, like, right when he sits down, the doors open and he's like, oh.
Hilarious. Yeah, I can't believe we both put that. Dylan Compton, thank you for the super chat. I feel so cool now that I taught you guys something, Lamau. I think it'd be cute if Ralph's character were an artist. I have to assume maybe he was because he was carrying a little sketchbook.
I wish that I had known that for my 101 Facts video.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, let's play some catch up. This
Yeah.
is a hard thing to, like, balance the super chats and us trying to get through our list, but Bakey, the cloud car pilot that flew next to the Falcon. Not on my list, but I did consider it.
That is on my list, but I have specifically the quote unquote rather touchy
They're rather touchy, yeah.
cloud car driver.
Well, the reason I considered it is that they do, like, this weird lingering shot on the cloud car that does make something feel like it's significant. So
Yeah.
I think there's definitely a chance of a cloud car pilot.
I just like that they could write a story about like someone who's like a real stickler for the rules on Cloud City.
Yeah. He is touchy.
Yeah.
Nobody really likes him. He doesn't get along.
Major Zuma, thank you for the super chat. Here's another one. So far, what's your favorite episode of the Mando Gallery series? I loved score and visuals where they were talking about that big screen. Yeah, we did watch the new one this morning.
Yeah, I mean, I really like learning about music, and I'll give it a shout out because every time it comes up, I want to talk about David W. Collins' podcast, The Soundtrack Show. If you're at all interested in Star Wars music, he doesn't just talk about Star Wars, but he has done A New Hope, Empire, and Return of the Jedi, and like Raiders of the Lost Ark and Jaws and Superman. Ton of John Williams scores, but he like explains musically what's happening in such a crazy way that I would have never thought about before. So you'd probably like that podcast.
Yeah.
But I think the Volume episode is my favorite one.
Whichever one has the most Baby Yoda stuff in it.
Yeah, that was practical, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about the practical effects they used and how they tried to use the puppet a lot.
Yeah.
And Werner Herzog called them cowards.
Yeah, I love that story.
That's Molly's waiting for the Baby Yoda only episode.
Yeah, I mean that one had a lot of Baby Yoda in it, but I want one just about him.
Mm-hmm. I loved Deborah Chow's story about Werner Herzog like directing the puppet.
Yeah. Stuart Lugsden, thank you again for another super chat. Final super chat. Babu is 85 in
there
episode
you go.
9. So
We're people dropping all kinds of knowledge on us tonight.
It's very possible that Babu Frick is out and about
Why
somewhere.
not? Yeah, he might like the cold weather.
Yeah. John Booze, thank you for the super chat. My awesome nephew Caleb wants to ask you what you think of an IG-88 story on Cloud City, perhaps like the Tales of the Bounty Hunters book.
All right, let's talk about IG-88. He's on my list.
He's on my list.
Okay.
Spoilers, all the bounty hunters are on my list.
Yeah. Okay, then let's just talk about all the bounty hunters.
Okay.
Well, we'll go one at a time.
Okay.
So IG-88, yeah. He had a story in Tales from the Bounty Hunters that really ranged from like his creation to I think the end of Return of the Jedi, but part of it is that IG-88's body or a lookalike body is on Cloud City. And so the Tales from the Bounty Hunters book in Legends said that IG-88 went there and Boba Fett disabled him and left him there. I don't know if they're going to do that again. I wouldn't mind it if they did, because I always did think that, again, they took just a little background prop thing and they made it into the story, and I think that's really neat.
Yeah.
So I'm on board if they do that again. And I don't want to bring up Robot Chicken over and over, but there's a really funny sketch where IG-88 is in like the dining room table just next to where Boba Fett is. And like he was competing, but he sets up the table and everything, but then they go to Boba Fett's and he gets sad and smashes all the plates and stuff. It's so dumb, but I love it.
Oh man.
Yeah, the bounty hunters are like, I could see that being the cantina scene from the first book, where it's like, okay, we're gonna get Long Snoot, we're gonna get Muff Tack and Ponda Baba, and like we just spend a lot of time. Woo her. We're gonna spend a lot of time here. I definitely think we're gonna go with all the bounty hunters.
So you think they'll all be in one chapter?
No, I think that it's gonna be
Okay.
IG-88 story, Dengar's story.
Yeah, so
I did not include Boba Fett on my list. I felt like he was too major.
Oh, well, I guess I did include him, but
I mean, he got one in the first book.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he had one, but I had too much other weird stuff, and I took Boba Fett off.
all right. So talked about Dengar, Bosk. Bosk also has a really funny bit in Robot Chicken.
Oh yeah,
about like how no one else took their shoes off and how rude it was.
Yeah, am I the only one that took their shoes off? And then like they all race off to get the Falcon, and he's tying his boots back on.
Forlom, Zuckus, yeah. And then, so you did not put Boba Fett.
I did not put Boba Fett.
I did. So.
Yeah, there isn't, I guess, a whole lot to say about all of them. It's more just, I feel like these books are very much in the same vein of Tales of the Bounty Hunters, Tales from Jabba's Palace, and it felt wrong not to include them, especially when none of them have any lines except Boba Fett and, I guess, Bosk's snarl.
Yeah. Do you want to read some of this chat?
Sure. Rebel Friend, thank you for the super chat. I'm sure you've already addressed Wilro Hood. Yes, we did, but you thought you'd mention it. We're both pretty darn tubular. Thank you. Yes, it. Wilro Hood it's like we are going to guess that that's the one everyone's fighting over writing. I think he's just such a fan favorite, cult favorite character.
Yeah.
That you have to include him.
Cameron Taylor, thank you for the super chat. What's your favorite story in the A New Hope from a Certain Point of View book? There's so many good ones, but off the top of my head,
I do have the top of my head.
I'll say R5D4.
That was one of my top ones, and yeah, it's really nice. I think Ray Carson wrote that one, and yeah, giving him a little bit of agency in the decision to blow himself up.
Yeah, like he had a purpose, a specific purpose, and like I don't know, it's just like I never would have thought to give that droid a story and have it be so meaningful.
I'm running back through some of these. The one that popped into my head first was, and I had to look up the title, Stories in the Sand by Griffin McElroy, who, by the way, I didn't know who Griffin McElroy was until more recently. They're the guys that do like one of the biggest D&D podcasts of all time. They're huge podcasters. They run Maximum Fun, which Mission to Zix is on. And,
oh, cool.
But yeah, he wrote a story about Jawa, who like went through all of R2's memories and saw these adventures and went off to do his own thing. And that one really, that's the fun thing about this book, is that we're making all these guesses, but there's going to be something really random that no one can predict.
Right.
Like Jot the Jawa was no one before, from a certain point of view, and now it's like, oh, that was really a really nice little story. So I'm sure that there's going to be tons of things that we are not even close on and that are going to be like our favorites.
Yeah. Shayla Starkley, thank you for another super chat for Lam and the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Yeah, there's any of the characters could have that be their title.
It's like we don't know what happened to Forlom at all, or Zuckus. I mean, they're always partnered up. So
yeah. And James Mitchell, thank you for the super chat. We mentioned this earlier, but yeah, L3 talking to C-3PO would be a really good.
I think that'll be a very, very funny scene of 3PO doing his best to interact with L3.
Howard Shaver, thank you for the super chat. The Wills. Oh, this goes back to what you were talking about earlier. The Wills arguing over the pronunciation of AT-AT.
That's very funny.
Or AT-AT.
Yes.
Whichever
it's AT-AT.
Whichever you prefer. We both say AT-AT.
I mean, it's whatever you want. I'm not going to die on that hill, but AT-ST, ATTE, AT-AT? No, like consistency.
Yeah.
That's my OCD kicking in. Ted Comet, thank you for the very generous super chat. 3-part question. What's the name of the planet they went to in issue 1 of Tales of the Jedi? Did it appear in the Clone Wars? 3, if it did, what episode?
That's on you. I don't know.
I know.
It's a good question.
Well, the one I'm thinking of is... Oh, yeah. If this is... It's been so long since I've read Tales of the Jedi, but I know Onderon is in it. And Onderon is in the Clone Wars. That's where Saw Gerrera is from. Mm-hmm. I don't know the episode, but that's season 5. And also, I might be wrong. I can't remember what was in the first Tales of the Jedi.
Still going through our Clone Wars rewatch, so... Yeah.
But I know Onderon is in those comics.
Arkham Prisoner, thank you for the super chat. Back to Shadows of the Empire, Dash Rendar.
I would love it. I mean, he has been mentioned in canon already.
Yeah, he's been mentioned in the book Tales from Vandor, I believe.
I think that it's over there somewhere. But yeah, Dash Rendar is technically canon.
Yep. He's in Solo Tales from Vandor. Whatever. Yeah, just mentioned very briefly in one of these chapters.
I think that would be a really fun way to bring him back, like into a story, where I think it would satisfy a lot of people like me who love Shadows of the Empire, and I forget all the haters who are just like, he's a Han Solo replacement, he's a cheap Han Solo knockoff. Like, yeah, I know, that's why I like him. He's fun. Look at those shoulder pads. He's great. I think that would be a fun way to reference some Shadows of the Empire stuff, bring him in, have some fun with it without it having to mean more than that.
Yeah. We're still trying to play catch up before we get back to our list.
Just saw Daniel S. say, "You just got bosked." It's funny, like that's how far behind we are in the chat.
Chris Finch, thank you for the super chat. Congrats to Molly on our Schmodown match. Thank you so much. Yes, I won my first Schmodown match finally. Yay. And hello from London, where it is currently 2 a.m., but I'll stay up anytime for your content.
Oh, thanks, Chris.
Awesome. That's awesome.
And thanks for watching the Schmodown.
Yeah.
Very proud of Molly.
Yeah. My next match is in
2 weeks.
A little less than 2 weeks, and I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring it hard. Lewis Sutcliffe, thank you for the super chat. Qui-Gon, Yoda, and Obi-Wan having a big chat. That could be in Yoda's story.
I wrote Qui-Gon.
Oh, okay.
Did you?
Nope.
Oh, well then I won't delete it. Yes, I don't know if they said Claudia Gray was writing for this one, but I thought she did a great job with Master and Apprentice. I really loved that. That's another one of probably my favorites, which it's called Master and Apprentice in From a Certain Point of View. So I would really like to see that again, see even more evolution of Qui-Gon's journey into becoming a Force ghost. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that'd be dope. And also, we know, that Qui-Gon's spirit was like on Dagobah in season 6 of the Clone Wars. Like, I think it would be fun if maybe that's, kind of the Yoda story. Right after Luke leaves, then Obi-Wan's there, and then Qui-Gon's like, "What, you guys just let him go?"
Yeah.
He pops in. He was just a little too late.
Yeah. All right. Should I get back to my list?
Sure.
Because I have a good one, and I don't know if this character has a name or not, but this is a character we see on Echo Base, I think, as Han is walking towards Leia to talk to her. But I wrote down lady holding thing to line on glass map on Echo Base.
She does have a name.
I want to know about those maps. What are they? How do they work?
What are they? She does have a name, and I used to know it. Shoot. It's her. She's sisters with the woman who's like talking to ion control when they're shooting the ion cannon. Mm-hmm. So she does have a name, and
I just more so I want to know about those glass maps or whatever they are.
What do they do? What are you tracing?
'Cause she's got like this little, it looks like one of those library barcode scanners, and she's just like holding it up to one of the lines on the map, and I'm just like,
it's like the one of my favorite pieces of Star Trek trivia is like they have pipes on the ships, and they were labeled GNDN, and that stood for goes nowhere, does nothing. Like that's what I think of every time I see those glass panes. It's like it's just sci-fi stuff to like, oh, I'm keeping busy.
Yeah, I love it. Marlon Rando, thank you for another super chat. Trivia, what is the name of Cal's favorite song? The one that plays during the Haxian Brood fight pit.
I do not know. I know the song that you're referencing and think it's... I liked it. It's really cool. That fight, that whole section of the game is weird. It's probably my least favorite part of the game. But that song is great. It feels very Star Wars to me. Like in a... It's just alien, but not... I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's very cool.
Yeah. Phil Van Eck, thank you for the super chat. Love the channel. How about Luke's journey into the dark side cave from another point of view, maybe a reptile, to show us what's real and what's in Luke's head? So in my list, I wrote down the dark side cave.
So did I.
Just straight out, like it being like a force.
It has to have some level of sentience, I assume.
Yeah, it being...
It's an entity in the Force.
An entity in the Force. I was like, they could possibly tell a story from the actual cave and like about what's happening, but also, yeah, just from a random snake or reptile that is
they're
like
everywhere,
witnessing what's going on.
But I really like the idea of the Dark Force cave as a character. That they could go either way. It could be very mystical and cool, or it could be just straight up funny of it being like, oh, here comes this whiny kid. I'm going to mess with him.
Yeah.
Like, can't wait to show him who's under this helmet. I tend to, I don't know why, I tend to lean towards comedy with a lot of these, but that's, the first book surprised me with how emotional and mystical it got at points.
Lewis Sutcliffe, thank you for another super chat. Droid that Han tells to wait and then it just glides away. I forgot about that little guy.
That would be funny. It's just like, I'm tired of dealing with this human. I'm out of here.
Yeah, he's like, these two don't know how to fix anything on this ship, and I'm getting out.
Now I'm trying to remember what it's called. I can only think of Treadwell, but I'm pretty sure that's the one from Tatooine. Is it? Is it Treadwell?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Is it your
Well, we both just did Dark Side Cave. I think it's my turn. I said Shara Bay and Kez Dameron.
Yeah.
They were both in the final, what did they call it? It was like a big collection of comics that wrapped up Dr. Aphra, the Star Wars comics, Target Vader, but they had a story in it and they were on Hoth. So we know they're there.
Is that...
Oh, yeah. Cameron Tyler, thank you for the super chat. Poe's parents, I don't know what they're up to. I should have just read ahead and we would be talking about it anyway.
Yeah.
But yes, totally agree, Cameron. I'm like, really, that was kind of my inspiration when making this list. A lot of them were just, who wasn't a character when The Empire Strikes Back came out, but now we really like them, and it would be fun to place them in the universe somewhere and see what they were doing at this point in time.
Yeah. I'll go to my next one on my list. AT-AT Driver. Another one that has a Funko Pop that I like. A couple of these were just like, oh, they have Funko Pops. They should have a story.
I don't have that on my list.
Specifically, like one of the ones that Veers is standing behind, and maybe Veers is just like talking a lot and he's just like trying to tune him out.
I'm just trying to drive, bro.
Yeah.
Like, stop backseat driving.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if we got like a Veers story that made Veers watch really happy, and then we got to hear like what the driver thinks of Veers, and he's like just over it.
Yeah.
My next one is along the same lines as the Damerons. I said Magna Tolvan, who is from the Dr. Aphra comics, and again, we know that she winds up on Hoth. She was part of the Empire. She defects to the Rebellion, and that's just, I'm such a big fan of Dr. Aphra and that story. I don't know if they will be able to get Aphra in the way that they did with the first one, and even that was like, they basically just followed the Imperials that went to Dantooine, and Aphra happened to be there.
Yeah.
So I think this would work a little bit better than like forcing another Aphra story, but it's still Aphra adjacent, so I'd like to see it.
Yeah. I like that. Who's next on my list? We already mentioned Nita. Commander of the Tyrant Star Destroyer.
The first catch of the day guy? I think I wrote him down at one point and took him out for something else. So
I'm assuming he has a name, but I didn't look it up.
he does. I don't know it off the top of my head. But
that's the Star Destroyer that they disable.
Yeah. And he has such a notable line. And this one, now I'm thinking of the Family Guy parody, because he delivers that line and the officer next to him is like you fish. Like, that's, I always think of that now. It's like, yeah, I almost want a story from that other officer just rolling his eyes. Yeah. Like, oh, you're so dramatic. Oh, no, I did write it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I just wrote our first catch of the day guy.
Well, mine is technically more right because I wrote tyrant.
Well, you have to delete it because we both wrote it. I'm sorry.
Fine.
Those are the rules. I didn't make the rules. Categories did. My next one was just a TIE pilot that is going into the asteroid field.
I wrote TIE bomber pilot.
That's different. I was thinking one of the four that chase the Falcon in.
Okay.
So a TIE bomber is... I hadn't thought of that. I like that.
Yeah, just because it's a new version of the TIE ship that gets introduced in the movie, and
It just like it's such a quick scene.
yeah, maybe it's their maiden voyage of the TIE bomber, and they're like, "This is awesome."
Just bombing rocks. Love it. While we're in the asteroid field, my next one is Space Slug.
Yeah, he's not, that's on mine too.
Yeah.
The Exogorth.
Again, like
That would be such a good story.
Yeah.
Like, what just flew into my mouth?
how often does that thing eat?
Yeah. I mean, there's Minox living in there. Which is also on my list.
Oh, I didn't do Minox.
I put Minox on my list.
It's kind of the same thing though. Like, oh my gosh, a ship is down here.
Mm-hmm.
We can finally eat something.
Right, because like Han says that they like to chew on power cables, and it's like, well, how often do they get to chew on power cables
Yeah.
if they're living inside an Exogorth on an asteroid?
I want to.
But they're obviously in other places as well, especially maybe their homeworld is Ardinia because of what Rio says.
Yeah, Minoc roast. Yeah, like I guess I want to pretend the space slug has some level of sentience, kind of like the Dianoga did in the first book. I think that is basically the parallel story, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you want to do some super chats?
Sure. Andrew Wolf, thank you for the super chat. What would be a shocking story similar to the Tarkin story from a certain point of view that you could see happening for this one?
I don't know that I can guess something like that. Like, I would never have guessed that we would learn that TK-421 and Tarkin were like secret lovers with a mouse bot messenger boy. Like,
Yeah.
that's so off the wall. What's something shocking? We kind of mentioned it earlier, but I would be really surprised if they went with the whole Admiral Ozzel was
A rebel spy.
a rebel spy,
Yeah.
a rebel operative that was just doing his best, and his last act was to give him a heads up. I don't think that's going to happen, but that would change the way I view him.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. David M8, thank you for the super chat. What's Captain Rex up to? What do we think? Is Captain Rex?
If Hera's
with-
there, I think he'd be there.
Yeah. Is he with the rebels?
I would assume so.
I didn't put him on my list, but
I didn't either.
that's a good one.
I can't remember if they have ever placed Hera there. I feel like I'm missing something that they might have, but yeah, if she's there, I think he would be there.
Fair. That's fair. What is next on my list? Oh, okay. So I mentioned Minoc, TIE Bomber, Boba Fett.
I'm almost done with my list.
I
I
am
only
too.
have a handful more.
I just have 2 left.
Okay, I have more than that, so I'll go next.
Okay.
I wrote Carbon Chamber Ugnaught, possibly Queel, but I think more likely Florks Biggles. That's a character from Last Shot. Daniel Jose Older, who wrote Last Shot, said he wrote a story for this, and he said he got some Last Shot characters in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stick my flag on the ground and say Florks Biggles is in from a certain point of view.
I also have Ugnaught, but I'll just say that mine will be a different. Maybe the one that is playing with C-3PO's head.
Sure. Yeah, you get Incinerator Room Ugnaught, and I'll get Carbon Freeze. Well, I'm just gonna say Florks Biggles.
Okay.
If I'm going specific, one Ugnaught is in this,
And it's that one.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying?
Yes, but if it's any other Ugnaught, it doesn't count for me.
Okay.
All right. Next, I wrote Mon Mothma. That's another one where she got a story in the first book, but she wasn't a character until Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
I would like to see what was going on with her.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine she was at the Rebel fleet at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely on one of the ships. Man, I feel like I need to reread some of these stories.
Oh, I haven't read it since it came out.
Yeah. The audiobook is fantastic. Like, I remember we were on a flight somewhere and I put it on and it was just so soothing to listen to. And it's just cool because it's a bunch of short stories.
I have one more.
So do I. So let's read some super
Okay.
chats before you do our last one.
I thought you had two more.
Do I? No. I think. Well, Ugnaught.
Oh, right. Okay.
So we both put that.
Mike Geheb, thank you. That is what I think when I watch the movie, the robot chicken line. Oh, the fishing. Our first catch of the day, yeah.
Yeah. The French Taunter, thank you for the super chat. How about one of the gunners on the Executor when they're in the asteroid field? Congrats on the win, Molly. Thank you. Thanks.
That could be like a... I wonder if they would be having fun with that, the gunners, or if they'd be like, why are we doing this? It could go either way. But like, it's kind of like playing asteroids on like an arcade machine. Like, I'm just shooting rocks. But if you miss, someone dies.
Yeah. G Collins, thank you for a super chat. Another vote for L3 having a conversation with 3PO.
We have covered that. I feel like that just has to happen.
Yeah, I hope it does. I really do. I want something else from L3. She was one of my favorite parts of Solo.
That could be the Daniel Jose Older story, though, because he kind of wrote L3. Well, no, he did. He definitely did. He wrote L3 in Last Shot as well. So I would trust him to do it. I think Mur Lafferty, I don't know if she's doing it or not, but she did the Solo novelization, so...
Yeah. Cameron Taylor, thank you for the super chat. R2, but when Yoda is hitting him with the stick specifically.
I mean, that would be amazing. Just again, we talked about this of they'd be able to reconcile why don't they recognize each other, and we can be like, R2 can just be like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like, I haven't seen you in 25 years and you're just beating the crap out of me.
He's like, wait, it's me. I know I'm covered in mud, but it's me.
I think
that'd be good. Danta Bay Zero, thank you for the super chat. Alex mentioned General Pride earlier in the stream. That'd be a good one.
Yeah, I like General Pride. I also like Captain Kennedy. I kind of put them both, and I had to choose one or the other. I went with Captain Kennedy, just because he seemed to have more disdain for the First Order. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to see his point of view on the Empire. Pride, obviously also part of the Empire, but seemed to be like willing to go along with the First Order, or maybe it was just a thing where he was playing the long con. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do think he would have an interesting story.
All right, I'll say my last one.
Is yours serious or a joke? Because mine is kind of a joke. But
it could be either. I don't know.
Let's save one that could be either for last.
Okay.
Because mine is Biggs watching from heaven. He got a story in the first book.
We assume there's a space heaven because in this movie, Han...
All Biggs go to heaven.
All right. Well, in this movie, Han mentions hell, so we assume that there is a space heaven. And yeah, Zero M80, thank you for the super chat, just said the rebel that Han told to go to hell. Yeah.
I mean, that'd be a funny, just like, well, okay, rude.
Rude. What would Biggs be saying?
I don't know. I mean, Shane says Biggs is miraculously a Force ghost with zero explanation. Yeah, we don't need anything else. That's what happens. I don't need any explanation. Just looking down, watching his best bud Luke training. Like, look at him go. Didn't even know he was a Jedi, and just so proud.
All right. My last one is, I mean, it's nothing revolutionary, but one of the stormtroopers that gets pushed by Chewie.
Oh, yeah.
In the carbon freezing chamber.
That's funny.
Just like having the best day, and then he's
gonna
like,
freeze a dude.
Like, what if he's like, he's always wanted to meet a Wookiee? Like, he's like, oh my gosh, that's a Wookiee. Like, secretly, he's a big fan and has always wanted to meet one.
He's actually just coming over to shake his hand, and then Chewie throws him off a
Chewie's
cliff.
Like, get out of here.
I like that. I'm surprised you didn't write down one that you brought up earlier today that I thought was actually really good. We were like discussing the rules of this and how it's like, okay, you can't really do main characters unless you put a twist on it, where Yoda's a main character, but he wasn't in A New Hope, so he gets to be in the first book. And we talked about Han being in Carbonite.
Oh yeah, I thought maybe you had put that one down.
Well, I should have. I thought that was your idea, so I was going to let you do it.
No.
I
Was
think
it
that's.
my idea?
I don't remember anymore.
I think it was your idea.
Oh well, I'm putting it on the list.
Okay.
I like the idea of getting even a little glimpse of what it was like for Han to be frozen.
Yeah. So like
what?
Either during the freezing process, or like maybe he has some thoughts, some sudden thoughts right after.
Or like, could he sense being pushed to Boba Fett to the Slave One? Or I think it's unlikely, but
was he actively thinking the entire time he was frozen?
Or people have always made the joke of like, oh, Indiana Jones is what Han Solo dreamed about. Well, because there are like Star Wars Easter eggs in Indiana Jones, and it's like, oh, well, those connections mean something. And
right.
That could be funny.
That's a good one.
Okay, well then, how many did you end up with? I have 20, if I'm including that. Which I guess that means you should have 20 as well.
I have 18. What do you mean I should have 20 as well?
I guess I figured we would, if we deleted repeats and I had 20 left over. Well, I just added the Han and Carbonite one, so that's kind of cheating. But
well, I put Rogue 10 and Rogue 11 as separate people.
And then you combined them. Okay.
Yeah. It's a solid list.
Yeah.
I think.
George Sifkas, thank you for the super chat. I know it's off topic. Doesn't matter because now we're done with our list.
Yeah.
Are there any announced famous personalities that we're excited to play against in the Schmodown? I would love to play Kevin Smith.
I was going to say Doug Benson.
Oh, yeah, Doug. I forgot Doug Benson's in this.
Well, he's in my faction.
Well, look at you.
Look at me.
Who's?
So I probably wouldn't play against him, but...
No, that can happen.
Yeah, I would love to play with him if that were a possibility. Because we know Doug loves movies.
Oh, man. I was like, if you were on Kevin Smith's faction, your team name could be the Mallrats.
Ooh. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to do Inner Geekdom or Star Wars against Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun. I have Chris Jericho's in my faction.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the wrestler. That's awesome.
I totally forgot about Doug Benson. I think I would probably most want to play Doug, just because knowing how much he loves movies as well. Mm-hmm. He has a podcast about it, and the Leonard Maltin game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'd be fun to play against. Yeah. Plus, he'd probably be stoned out of his mind, and I could be an easy win.
Yeah. Okay, well, this has been a
Yeah.
fairly long stream, and like we say every time we stream,
I'm hungry.
It's dinner time. But thanks to everyone who
Yeah.
tuned in and watched, and all the super chats.
Oh, speaking of, Jack der Offries, thank you for super chat. We did discuss doing
a sequel
to the Wills book. That's on my list because that's such an entertaining little story of them arguing over grammar and stuff. So, yeah, I like that idea a lot.
Yeah, good stuff. I'd love to see more of your predictions. I guess after this video is done, people can
put them in the comments.
People can still leave comments, so leave them in the comments of the video of any predictions that you think could be in the book that we missed. But yeah,
that was fun.
It'll be a while. Do we know? We don't know when it's coming out, right?
November 10th or 11th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's November.
So we got a while until...
I know we're supposed to learn more about the book on Monday. It might just be a list of authors. Maybe they'll say their stories. I think what they're going to do, at least I think they should. Luke SWO1 asked why I was crossing my arms. I was like, I don't know, just damn.
Well, Tom said if you wait till November 10th, you'll get a full list.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they do the slow release of like every couple days. They say here's an author and like an image of the story that they're going to do.
Yeah.
I thought that was a lot of fun and an exciting way to build up hype each time. So yeah. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you so much for the super chats. We are going to try to get back onto a regular streaming schedule like we have been. I still have an A-wing to finish building.
Oh yeah, where is that?
Right there.
We just have like a pile of built and half-built Legos over there.
Yeah. We will see you guys soon. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys have a good weekend, and may the Force be with you.
Oh.